Quick check-in with the House of Mirth. I am sort of breaking up chapter 3 of book 2 into multiple sections just because I'm busy this week. Just to note that Lily seems like she's in trouble. Like she is between Mr. Dorset and Mrs. Dorset, Bertha Dorset, who is having an affair with Neil Stepney, and Mr. Dorset has found out, but Bertha is like, okay, well, if you're going to charge me with having an affair, I will go after you. I'll say that you and Lily are having an affair, which she's been using Lily to kind of distract her husband, George Dorset, from what's been going on. But now he's kind of cottoned on. Um, she's George goes to Lily asking like kind of like, well, I'm gonna explode everything. Sends him to Selden, who kind of tells him to kind of calm down. He goes back to the yacht that they're on, and they have some kind of conversation. But Bertha, in the meanwhile, has basically said, "I'm gonna use you," like is very aggressively, like you've been hanging out with my husband. I'm going to use this as I'm the wronged party as well. If fingers get pointed, I will be pointing right back, and I'll be pointing at you and George. And Lily is like, oh really? No, no. It's like she can't kind of quite get it. She does have in her back pocket. I always think of those letters that she has to from Bertha to Neil Stepney. So there's that. And then we get this dinner party where the Dorsets are back together. They're putting on a front of like, we're perfectly fine, we're perfectly happy, and Selden to be like, oh shit, I need to get Lily out of the situation because it looks like it's going to backfire. And Lily is like, oh, she is worried. But then she gets in situation and it's like, no, I'm perfect. I mean, she's in perfect command. She's kind of sort of helped get this party together, get the right people for a party for Mrs. Bry, the Brys who were frustrated with Mrs. Fisher, and Mrs. Fisher basically I'm giving you the Brys, get the Brys, get the fuck out, get away from the Dorsets. She's also cautioning Lily that way, but Lily's kind of reluctant to go, but she does help Mrs. Bride pull off this occasion, and and there's a striking scene in here in this chapter where Selden is looking at her and saying like, well, okay, my real detachment from her wasn't back when I saw her coming out of the house with Gus Trenner. His real detachment from her had taken place not at the lurid moment of disenchantment, that moment with Trenner, but now in the sober afterlight of discrimination, where he saw her definitively divided from him by the crudeness of a choice which seemed to deny the very differences he felt in her, because he feels like she is something special. It was before him again in its completeness, the choice in which she was content to rest in the stupid costliness of the food and the showy dullness of the talk, in the freedom of speech which never arrived at wit, and the freedom of act which never made for romance. So this luxury which you're dull and without romance and without wit, but you're in it. You're in the expense. And just like just at the end there, it's like she seems like, oh well, why did I even offer her help? She is so completely in control. Miss Bry is super happy. um you know um she did at least, and then talking about the Lily at the party, she, even if she didn't help organize it, she did at least a great deal to adorn it. As he watched the bright security in which she bore herself, he smiled to think that he should have fancied her in need of help. Never had she appeared more serenely mistress of the situation than when, at the moment of dispersal, detaching herself from the group about the table, she turned, and with a smile and a graceful slant to the shoulder, to receive her cloak from Dorset, which is again back to danger, Will Robinson, because Bertha looking on George Dorset putting that putting her cloak getting her cloak getting put on by George Dorset is liable to, I would think, set off Bertha, who is, we seems to have very rash acts, but will do it with cold determination, which is not a good combination. So yeah, I just wanted to check in. A very quick 4-minute check in. All right, more videos later.